that would be real close to the launch of the Wii U, so they'd be able to have more time to implement the gameplay.
Yeah, but the thing is, during E3, I could have sworn that Miyamoto said that they were completely done with Skyward Sword. So, and the Wii
I think they're just waiting to release it.
Yeah, and the Wii U isn't even done. Isn't
it is still in the prototype phases.
Yeah, it's still in the prototype phases. So if they're still developing the Wii U and they're completely done with Skyward Sword, it would be completely unlikely that they're gonna add more to it just because of the next console. I mean, we saw that happen before, and we were delayed like 6 months because of that. Twilight Princess.
Hey man, I don't dash your dreams.
For all we know, the Wii U can have like add-on capability finally.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So, like, you could pop in Skyward Sword and have, like, an add-on from the shop, actually.
Oh, that's
expansion packs?
Oh, like a plug-in. I see.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to go to Labrina or Holodrum?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
wouldn't it, though? I'd actually be kind of interested in seeing the Oracles come back.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they're going to be put on the Virtual Console again. I really hope they do, because
they were really understated games. I think it's almost like Nintendo completely forgot that they existed, even like a month after they came out.
Yeah,
they were all just like caught up in the release. Like the Oracles came right between. They either came right after Majora's Mask or right in between Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
No, I think they came after Majora's Mask.
Right,
before
so they were like
before the Wind Waker.
So they were like right on the cusp of the Wind Waker, and that was the big thing. It's like the Oracles was sort of filler.
Yeah.
So I would love seeing them like bring them back at least to the Virtual Console, maybe even make a 3D version of them.
Yeah,
I'd love to see those other worlds again.
Yeah, I hope they do, because they're kind of hard to come by. Well, actually, I'm not sure if they are hard to come by, because I haven't really looked, but if they do put it on the Virtual Console, that would be really good, because it would make it much easier for me as a consumer to actually get a hold of it.
Definitely. And they do love making money.
Yeah, it's all, like you said last time.
Money.
Yeah, like you said last time, it's all about the Benjamins.
Mm-hmm.
Considering fanboys like me who already own the game will still probably buy it to see if there's any differences.
Speaking of the Benjamins, they've announced the Wii U relatively early, for most systems compared to the other companies, and compared to how long they usually wait before releasing systems. And as a result, their stocks have actually taken a hit. Like a lot of people have stopped and have sold their shares of the company and have pulled out of it since they announced the Wii U, which I thought was really interesting. And I'm wondering, why are people afraid that Nintendo's going to go down? Because I thought they had a really strong E3, at least one of the stronger ones they've had recently.
Well, they're afraid that by placing all of their chips in the Wii U and the fact that they, a lot of people have been convinced for some reason that the Wii U is done with development and then they're just working all the bugs out. They're afraid that it won't be able to keep up with the newer competition, like if Sony or Microsoft decides to make something completely brand new and amazing before the release date for the Wii U. That'll just be centuries behind the new technology.
Right.
Well, I'm not sure how likely that would be, because didn't they recently come out with Kinect and the PlayStation Move?
Which is pretty much just stealing Nintendo, how they always do. They wait for Nintendo to toss out their chips, and then they're like, okay,
we're going to just copy the same thing.
Yeah.
Right. And what I love is now Nintendo's catching up to them in the processing power department.
Yeah.
It's like they went for entirely different things. Nintendo went for the motion sensing, and they went for the graphics, and now they're switching.
They're copying each other.
Basically.
What's interesting to me is, like, the Nintendo's motion sensing is interesting, but it's just following a stick. It's sort of like the Sony's iToy thing or whatever. But the Kinect, honestly, is like, when it came out, it was terrible, and you could play the games just by standing there holding your hands out. But the Kinect is actually being sponsored and used by like the military and a bunch of different outfits. I mean, it really has expanded beyond just a gaming tool. So I think that's part of the reason. Yeah.
It's sucking beforehand, which would probably be attributed just because the developers didn't really know how to handle the hardware, which is actually common across all platforms, really. Because look back at the bit wars that they had, like when everything was all becoming like 32-bit and 64-bit and whatever, they couldn't actually beef up all their games into the maximum capabilities because they just didn't know how to program it like that.
Right, that's why they had to add the expansion pack to the N64 to handle more intensive games like Donkey Kong 64 or Majora's Mask. So, they're just trying to work all the kinks out. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why Nintendo had to sort of move away, make the motion sensing less of a mainstay, was because the competition, understands it now, and they probably reverse engineered the technology to the point where it's no longer become that awesome, unique deal that it was before.
Right. Another thing is, with Nintendo, mostly going after the motion sensing, and the other companies going after the graphics and the instant pleasure, the big wow factor. Nintendo's fallen behind in good games. Third parties just didn't want to develop, and I think that's honestly why they're going at the Wii U now, is because the Wii's been a little bit of a failure in the third party game department.
Agreed. That was one of the really interesting things about the Wii U, was the fact that they were talking about how it's going to be really open to third party development, and just accepting whatever gets thrown out there. I'm really looking forward to seeing what third party developers can come up with, especially because they mentioned some really big names, including not E3, EA.
Yeah. Plus, I believe I heard a mention of Assassin's Creed on there, which would be kind of...
they did.
Exactly. I mean, that would be kind of interesting seeing on EU, considering with the Eagle Vision and everything on the screen there instead of actually what you're looking at on the TV.
Definitely. I mean, you could just hold the controller up to the screen and you can zoom in on whatever you want. That'd be awesome. I mean, the Wii U really has a lot of potential.
It really does. They've given themselves, from what I understand, they're giving themselves the ability to have hard-hitting graphics that they've been lacking, which will help bring in an audience that they've been missing with this latest console, and actually with the GameCube too. Although the GameCube did have some games that looked really good for the time.
Yeah, Metroid Prime, for instance.
Yeah,
Metroid
has always looked good. They've always had good graphics.
Although they sort of dropped the ball with the Other M.
Well, Other M actually had really good graphics as well.
It had really good graphics, but the gameplay it was less than desirable.
Awkward, more like it.
Yeah,
Other M was... Yeah.
That's more understandable, but I was talking exclusively about the graphics this time.
About the graphics, definitely. The graphics, really... Metroid Prime has always been a beautiful series. Even with Metroid Prime 3, one of the first games for the Wii, just knocked it out of the ballpark. So beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo seems to know how to use their systems to the fullest. It's just the third parties don't. They need to have
they know their hardware the best. They actually made it, so...
They need to have a game development seminar or something, just teaching these third parties how to make a decent game on their systems, because...
Well, there is the Game Developers Conference.
True. I don't know. I'm glad that with the Wii U, they're probably gonna get third parties to see their system as something more than just a party game platform.
Definitely, it seems like they're trying to take a more serious approach to gaming. That's why they call it the Wii U, because it's originally it was we, us. It's a family-based system, but they're adding the U to it, the more personalized thing for people that just want to play, awesome hardcore games, or even sports games. They're adding Madden and FIFA or whatever to the Wii U. Hey, soccer is a big deal. Soccer is more popular than football worldwide.
I wasn't laughing at you. My friend just crashed a helicopter into the side of a mountain and was perfectly harmed. Anyways, the title makes sense. It's cute, but if they start using any more pronouns, I'm gonna flip.
The Wii U, why?
The Wii U them.
The Wii U them.
Well, hey, the Wii U them would be interesting if they were to more incorporate. I would love the idea of a multiplayer Zelda.
That would be really cool.
Online, you can team up with a bunch of other heroes and
heck yeah.
Customize your link.
That actually was rumored with Zelda Universe, because on E3, on E3's not E3, the ESRB's website, they have this entry for this thing called Zelda Universe, which Nintendo's a publisher, and its genre is online. A lot of people say it's because they're doing that's actually an entry for the website. But when has the ESRB ever rated websites?
That's true.
So, I mean, it may very well just be a project that never happened, but
something to think about.
ESRB, yeah, they wouldn't rate a website. Did they get somebody to rate the series as a whole? Difficult.
Maybe. It's up in the air on this one. A lot of people are like, it's just because of the website. It just makes no sense, because Zelda Universe, if it is a website, for the sake of argument, let's say it is a website, it would be
Zelda Universe is a website, but that's...
Yeah, it is a website. But for the sake of argument, let's say that it actually is an entry for the website. Then it would be the only website in their database that is actually a rating for a website. So why would they change it with Zelda? Well, of course, Zelda's awesome, so... Mm-hmm. It doesn't surprise me that they would actually make that exception in that case, but But other than that, really, why would they make an exception in that case?
Yeah, you would think that if they were going to rate, website or entire series as a whole, it would be more related to Mario than Zelda, because Mario has always been the mainstay of Nintendo. I mean, Zelda is amazing, and it is, not even arguably, definitely the best series ever made. But you just can't beat the Benjamins of Mario.
Well, the reason for the Benjamins with Mario is because they produce so many spin-offs. Or in my opinion, that's because they produce so many spin-offs that, of course, they're going to sell more because they make more.
Mm-hmm. Nintendo can't make a game without slapping Mario's face somewhere in it.
Well, yeah.
Even in Ocarina of Time.
Well, that's the same thing with Zelda. That's the same thing with Zelda. I mean, pretty much if you slap Mario or Link or Samus on the cover, it's going to sell millions.
Yeah, pretty much.
Definitely.
When did we turn into like a bunch of financial advisors?
Yeah. Well,
do you realize how much we talked about money instead of games this entire time?
Hey,
money and games are inextricably linked nowadays.
Well, they are. You have to buy games, but
it's gone from the love of the games to the love of money in terms of how they've been producing games recently.
What about the love of money games?
Not entirely. I think there are definitely cases where that's true.
Well, not Nintendo. Not talking about any specific company. Just gameplay as a whole. I mean, it really comes down to a money game in terms of what they produce and what they don't produce. But going back to Zelda, what features do you think the 25th anniversary of Zelda will include?
Oh boy, wait, the 25th anniversary of Zelda meaning
like the game that they're releasing for the 25th anniversary.
Okay, this might just be like fanboy's dream, but
well, yeah, this is all speculation from this point on.
I would love it if it just happened to come with a 3D version of Link to the Past.
Oh yeah.
It's never gonna happen, but
well, yeah, maybe.
Well, people were working on a 3D version of Link to the Past. Like, it was a big project a while ago.
But then they realized it was hard and they stopped.
Well, right, but that's because they were a completely independent company, and they were facing a lot of opposition from Nintendo because they were like, we don't want you using our stuff and making profit off of it.
Yeah, of course.
I think that if